everyone, I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Vince.
And it's time once again
to recommend things!
Vince, what do you recommend today, sir?
Today I'm recommending a movie called Saint Me. Saint Vincent.
Oh, wow, elderly Bill Murray. Bill Murray.
You know, it's a good point. At this point, they're one and the same.
Well, no, I just, I looked at that, I was like, oh, I don't see him in movies anymore, so I didn't know what he looked like right now.
He's in the straight thing every once in a while.
Yeah, he looks all right.
So, Saint Vincent
the last thing I saw him in was probably Zombieland.
You know, he's been in something since that, but I forget what it was.
This?
Yeah, maybe it was. He's been in some artsy things lately. So, and this would, I think, qualify as one of the artsy things. So, I'm recommending this. A buddy of mine let me borrow a few of his movies, and he said, Vince, you got to see this movie. Not because of my namesake, but because I think it's a genuinely decent movie. Essentially, it's about a group of people, specifically this kid and Bill Murray. And he doesn't play Bill Murray. Bill Murray plays the crotchety old guy next door, Vincent. And so he is this guy whose life is kind of spiraling down the toilet. He's in debt to everybody. He's in debt to some dangerous people. He's making some questionable choices. And then you have this family that moves in next door, this mother and this recently divorced mother and this son who move in, and we as the movie goes along, we find out the details for why they moved. And so here's this kid who runs into bullying at school because he is scrawny, super scrawny for his age, and he's, young, so kids are mean to each other for no good reason. And so, he's an easy target. So this kid is kind of a likable kid, and through a certain set of circumstances, bullying be the circumstances, he gets locked out of his house. His mom's still at work, so he ends up spending time with the crotchety old Vincent next door. And so there's lots of great one-liners in this thing. There's lots of great, which I don't want to say any of them because I feel like they're all worth just experiencing cold. And you find out that there's a lot of unique little pieces of information about Vincent. There's lots of interesting bits of information about the people in his life. So here's this guy who keeps terrible company, prostitutes, card sharks, bookies, things of this kind. And these guys all kind of come together and create this picture of Vincent that is kind of offbeat sweet. It's here's this guy whose life is kind of awful, and he is in some ways a character that's worth your admiration, and in many ways not. But so the important thing is that here's this kid who has this experience with this kind of awful person, and this kid, being of sound mind, kind of unlike Vincent, this kid is able to make the best of it and come up with a new situation, or come up with something that he can learn from the situation. So the only real thing that I could say about this movie that I'm not sure about is if a kid would actually act this way, and because he seems so
mature.
Yeah, he's a grounded kid. Now, granted,
no, that can happen.
Being alone in the city with well, I don't know. Call it a city, I don't know. Anyway, being alone in a new area, essentially you have no friends and your mom works all the time, you have to become a little more self-reliant.
Yeah.
And so that I can kind of understand, but to some extent, when I see a kid that's needs to become more self-reliant, that kid becomes more introverted or kind of takes on that join them or get beaten up by him type of thing.
Well, it's also really tough to make that kid, to walk that line and make that kid seem like a real kid and not like a super genius or something.
Which I think that the thing that does that works for this kid is that he legitimately learns things, although he has to spin it for himself. He legitimately learns things from Vincent's character. So
Vincent is not the character who has the character arc.
They both are.
They both do. Okay.
They both kind of get a dual character arc.
I have never seen a Bill Murray movie where he doesn't start off as a jerk guy and then gets to the end and has a character arc where he's less that way. It almost never okay, not never, but it almost never happens.
He's he's definitely a jerk at the beginning.
I mean, is he still playing that type? Like, is he like?
I think that Bill Murray is always kind of the roguish, but you still love him type of guy. At the beginning, Bill Murray's character is a huge bastard. He's just such.
Can you say that on this channel?
That's a good point. He's such an unlikable guy right out the gates, and
like he's still doing that thing where I haven't seen it, but is he still doing that thing where he's super selfish, doesn't care about anybody else, and then like his character arc is learning to care about another person, and how to treat people a little bit? Is it that again? It is,
but it's
because I mean he has that in common with Jim Carrey a little bit, where they'll both kind of play that story about the selfish person that learns how to care.
But I think that the big difference is that most Bill Murray movies, you're right, but most Bill Murray movies...
I'm just wondering if it does it, but it spins it so that you don't feel like you've seen it again. Or seen it
does spin it.
Times. Okay, cool.
It does spin it because most Bill Murray movies are kind of... you want to love him anyway because he's so charming. But in this one, he's, a terrible guy. He's a legitimate jerk. And then we get to go... There's not like a big moment at the end where he suddenly realizes, I should be nicer to people.
Yeah.
But...
you don't want it to feel light switch.
He progressively throughout this story starts adopting new traits to allow other people to come into his life, and then at the end we do have a moment of change, and it does become a light switch for him, but it's not for the audience. We see the progression, and I think it's really charming. It's not one that tugs on your heartstrings like I'm going to cry every minute of this movie, which there are those moments, but it is a legitimately funny movie, and you do get to
see. Trying to be macho. He actually cries all the time when he watches
all
movies.
All the time.
Seriously, every time I watch him, I'm like Vince. We haven't even gotten past the
Train to the Dragons.
We haven't gotten past the opening credits of X-Men: Days of Future. Oh wait, that was me. Excuse me.
So I'm recommending St. Vincent. Tune in next time when we recommend St. Captain Logan.
I'd like to see this.
Yeah, I'll ask Luke if he'll let you borrow it.
Yeah, I like it, or I'll just look around. But I like to watch that. Today I'm going to recommend something ridiculous, which is my favorite kind of thing to recommend. Today I'm going to recommend elaborate Batman birthday cards. Yes, indeed. It is so hard to find good cards most of the time, and right now there are a couple of Batman cards on the market that are fantastic. So if you're going to, if you're looking for a card to give a little kid, or maybe even somebody my age that loves Batman, and you want to just make fun of us for how much we still love comic superheroes and stuff, you can. Not that, obviously there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying that sometimes it's funny that when you're really into a thing like this and you get like a 5-year-old's birthday card, that happens to me, and it's hilarious. Anyway, so Jason just turned 5, and he got not one but 2 really elaborate Batman birthday cards, and I just wanted to show them to you. This is somewhat of a recommended, somewhat of a just a... look at these. The first one, I'll save the most elaborate and ridiculous for last. The first one is this card that at first I was like, what is this thing? It comes with like a bat signal bookmark. So like cool. You open it up and it has this whole spiel about like you can be like Batman, so here's a cool bat signal, and
like I won't magnifying glass.
I won't read these to you, but yeah, except it doesn't actually magnify anything, but it kind of looks like a magnifying glass. Yeah. But it's a cool little bookmark, and a lot of cards these days are going for this kind of gimmick. I guess because it's it sells them on like you give your kid almost another present or something, I guess. But have you noticed that like cards are becoming more and more elaborate? And I've gotten some doozies. I've gotten cards that are like 6 miles long. Right, it looks like a normal card, and it just keeps going.
How does they fit this in the envelope?
But this next one is unlike anything I've ever seen. I can't believe this exists, and it's hilarious. This was sent to us by the fantastically nice lady who invited us out to, I've talked about this a little bit on the channel, who invited us out to Louisiana last year and took our family photos. And we're really good friends with this family now, and we write back and forth, and every now and again exchange snail mail letters. Yeah, snail mail. And
I prefer slug mail.
She sent a birthday card for Jason for his birthday, and I've never seen anything like this. So check out this card. This is the you're like, how is this a card, right? Well, it kind of isn't. It's just this big Batman thing, right? You're like, what is it? It's a birthday hat. It's a birthday hat, Vince.
That's awesome.
I mean, I've never seen anything like... Have you ever seen a birthday hat this big? Look at this birthday hat.
It can even fit you? Look at that.
Yeah, in fact, it's too small for Jason. I mean, it's too big for Jason.
That's hilarious.
Look at this giant... I can't even get it on screen. Look how giant this birthday hat is.
There you go.
Thank you. Oh. Isn't that hilarious?
That's great.
So I just felt the need to, you know, so she wrote it on the back for him and stuff, but I just, you know, so anyway, I just wanted to show that off because it's hilarious. So once again, Vince has a recommend where he has a lot of things to say about it, and I just have look at this stuff. Wasn't real sure where else I would talk about that, so I thought I'd
look
throw
for
those
St.
in here.
Vincent at a store near you, and look for elaborate Batman cards, circa May. Or April, I guess, 2015.
I mean, seriously, like, this is elaborate like the, well, I guess it's not convoluted. This is elaborate like the Mammon plot in Spawn, or like the Deathstroke plot in Arrow Season 2. Look, there's just so much going on with these cards. Anyway, well, see, I thought for a minute about making that a rant, but then I was like, well, I'm not annoyed about that.
It's just hilarious.
It's just hilarious. So anyway, well, that's what we recommend today, which also sometimes just becomes the catch-all show for other random things we wanted to show off.
Look at this!
Yeah.
I got this thing!
For kindergarten show and tell. See, there are other reasons that people sometimes give me things intended for 5-year-olds. Anyway, everybody, thanks as always for watching. We sure appreciate it, and we'll see you again with more videos very shortly. I am Captain Logan.
And I am Vince.